Namo Buddhaya, Namo Amitabha. Happy New Year, everyone. May the new year bring you lots of peace, happiness, and abundance, infinite light and life. So on the 29th of December, we celebrated Amitabha Buddha's birthday. Amitabha Buddha's birthday in Chinese Buddhism is set on the 17th day of the 11th lunar month each year. This day was chosen because of Master Yongming Yanshou's birthday. So Master Yongming Yanshou is the sixth patriarch of Chinese Pure Land Buddhism, who is officially recognized as the incarnation of Amitabha Buddha in our world, just like Master Shandao, the second patriarch. So in today's video, I feel like sharing the story of Master Yongming Yanshou and also why people believe that he is the incarnation of Amitabha Buddha in our world. So the great Master Yongming Yanshou, whose name actually literally means forever bright and long lifespan, which means infinite light and life, the meaning of Amitabha. So the name already gives us a hint. It's actually Amitabha. So Master Yongming Yanshou was born in 904 CE to a Wang family in Qiantang, nowadays Hangzhou, in Zhejiang province, China. And when he was young, he was already a Buddhist, and he often recited the Lotus Sutra at home. During the period of Emperor Qian, he was a tax officer. Whenever he saw animals in the marketplace, fish, prawns, chickens, he would always buy them and release them. When his own salary was used up, he even used the government's money to buy and release these animals. And of course, later, an execution was lodged against him and he was sentenced to death. And he was being told to the marketplace to get ready for execution. Emperor Qian sent someone to peep at his behaviors, instructing the prison's executioner if he saw the convict being afraid, then he should be killed. If unafraid, then he should be released. The great master, when approaching execution, he was calm and composed. His facial expression was unchanged. And when being asked why, he said, "Of the treasury's money I did not use for my own private use, but I saved millions of lives. And now I'm about to die. It's my time to be reborn in the Western Pure Land of ultimate bliss. Isn't that a joy?" So he was unafraid and he was quite happy about it. And Emperor Qian, upon hearing this, knew that he did not use the money for his own private use, and he was also touched by his compassionate heart, so he released him. After being released, the great master renounced the household life and took the monastic life under Chan Master Cui Yan. At that time, he was 30 years old. And due to his respect and admiration for the Fayan school's second patriarch, so the Fayan school is one of the Chan schools, the second patriarch of the Fayan school and also a Tiantai master, De Shao. So he went to Mount Tiantai to practice Chan under the guidance of Master De Shao. And not so long after, he understood all the teachings clearly and realized the essence of the teachings. When he entered deep meditative concentration for 90 days, birds even built nests on his robes. His enlightenment was confirmed by his teacher, and he succeeded as the third patriarch of the Fayan Chan school. So what's unique about Master Yongming Yanshou is that not only he is regarded as the sixth patriarch of Chinese Pure Land Buddhism, he is also the third patriarch of the Fayan Chan school. So he's both a Pure Land master and a Chan master. So later he was unsure which practice should be his main focus, whether he should practice Chan or Pure Land. So we talked about before, if you just want to understand the Dharma, you can read widely, you can learn about all different kinds of practice. But if you really want to practice the Dharma, you really want to practice Buddhism, it's best that you should stick with one practice. Almost one must stick with one practice. It's like if you want to go to Rome, every road to Rome. But if you really want to travel to Rome, you need to take one path. Even for people who practice Chan and Pure Land together, there need to be one primary focus. Otherwise, the directions are different. One cannot simultaneously practicing two methods at the same time. So Master Yongming Yanshou was unsure which practice should be his main focus, and that's why he decided to draw lots. So in one lot, it says single-mindedly practicing Chan, so that's the Chan lot. And another lot says all kinds of practices and good deeds transfer towards being reborn in the Pure Land. So that is the Pure Land lot. So to attain rebirth in the Pure Land, one can Nianfo and attain rebirth. But Nianfo is not the only method to attain rebirth in the Pure Land. One can also Nianfo and practice other kinds of practices as long as one transfer all these practices and good deeds towards being attained rebirth in the Pure Land. And one can also attain rebirth in the Pure Land. So the Pure Land lot, Master Yongming Yanshou writes all kinds of practices transfer to the Pure Land lot. And he prayed with deep sincerity in front of the Buddha. 7 times he pulled the Pure Land lot, and after that he decided he was single-mindedly practicing the Pure Land path. The great master's aspiration to attain rebirth in the Pure Land was firm and unwavering, and his practice was extremely diligent. Every day he would Nianfo for 100,000 times. Yes, really 100,000 times. And not only that, during the day he would practice 108 different kinds of Buddhist practices, such as Nianfo, reciting the mantras and sutras, give Dharma talks, write Dharma books, to prostrate and pay homage to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the 10 directions, to offer food to ghosts and wandering spirits, etc. In the evening, he will also Nianfo and walk to the other peaks, and hundreds of people will follow him. Not only that, throughout his life, he also recited the Lotus Sutra, a total of 30,000 times. So please don't be alarmed when we hear about the great master's practice and think, oh, do I need to practice like the master in order to attain rebirth in the Pure Land? No, you don't need to. To attain rebirth in the Pure Land is very easy. One only needs to have faith, you believe in it, vow you want to go, and Nianfo your practice. And how much you practice determines your grade of rebirth. So Master Yongming Yanshou is Amitabha Buddha who comes back. He is no ordinary being. So we don't really need to compare ourselves with the practice of Amitabha Buddha, of Master Yongming Yanshou. This kind of practices is really unparalleled. A lot of the ancient masters in ancient China, their practices were extremely diligent, and it's difficult, maybe almost impossible for us modern day people to match that, and also we don't need to. You just focus on your own practice. You don't need to compare yourself with the great masters. To share the stories of the great master is also just to inspire us to be more diligent in our cultivation, but it doesn't mean that we need to be like them, okay? So even if you just Nianfo for half an hour a day, or 15 minutes a day, or even only 10 recitations a day, that's also good, as long as you keep it consistent throughout your life. Consistency is the key. So regardless of what happens, you can always be mindful of Amitabha Buddha, and one can definitely attain rebirth in Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land. So don't be alarmed when we hear about these great practices by the great master. The great master lived in Yongming Temple for 15 years with disciples over 1,700 people. He often transmitted Bodhisattva precepts to the public and used money to purchase and release animals. transferring all kinds of good deeds towards being reborn in Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land. He also wrote a number of Dharma books, such as the famous Zongjing Lu, Record of the Mind Mirror, which explains the differences and similarities between these different Mahayana schools, such as the Tiantai Huayan, Consciousness Only School, etc. He also wrote a book, All Good Deeds Come Together, which aims to emphasize that all good deeds, all the good practices one practice, should all be transferred towards being reborn in Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land, because this is the easiest method for anyone to transcend the cycle of reincarnation and to realize enlightenment and the final Buddhahood in one lifetime. He also wrote a famous Chen and Pure Land fourfold explanations. With Chen and no Pure Land, 9 out of 10 people will miss the path. When demonic states or the Bardo period appears before the person, one follows it swiftly. So with Chen and no Pure Land, then this person relies entirely on one's own self-effort. And 9 out of 10 people will miss the path, because we talked about before how the Chen practice is really not an easy practice. It's actually quite difficult for one to rely on one's own self-effort to realize enlightenment. And we talked about before how difficult it is to actually cut off all the wrong perceptions and thoughts, to actually cut off all the attachment. So that's why 9 out of 10 people will miss the path. When demonic states, so when one is in meditative concentration, when one practices Chen, one can also encounter all kinds of demonic states. The Shiragama Sutra talks about the 50 kinds of demonic states. And that's why one should not be attached to anything during meditation. Or the Bardo period appears before the person. So when this kind of situations appears before this person, or when a person is about to die, if he hasn't realized enlightenment, then one just follows one's own karmic force and to reincarnate in accordance to one's karma. And most likely one cannot really realize enlightenment by his own self-effort, and particularly we are in the Dharma ending age. This is even more difficult, so one will just follow one's own karma and reincarnate into one of the 6 realms of reincarnation, most likely to the lower realm. Without Chen but Pure Land, 10,000 people practice, 10,000 people can go to the Pure Land. So if one doesn't know about Chen, but one knows about the Pure Land path, one knows about faith, vow, and nianfo, then 10,000 people practice, 10,000 people can go to the Pure Land, because the Pure Land Dharma gate is the easiest Dharma gate. And when we are in the Pure Land, we can see Amitabha Buddha. So one can definitely attain enlightenment. If one can see Amitabha Buddha, how can one not attain enlightenment? With Chen and Pure Land, one is like a tiger with horns. So if one understands both Chen and Pure Land, then this person is like a tiger with horns. So this is a metaphor. A tiger is an animal with great strength in the nature. And a tiger with horns, this person is even greater, with great wisdom. So one can be a teacher for the beings in this life and be a Buddha in the next. And of course, one can be a teacher to teach all the beings, and one can also realize Buddhahood and be a Buddha in the next life. Without Chen and Pure Land, iron beds and copper pillars await. So if one doesn't practice Chen nor Pure Land, one doesn't practice anything, then what happens? Iron beds and copper pillars away. This is the sceneries in the hell realm, and most likely one will fall into the hell realm, in the 3 evil realms. One cannot rely on anybody for 1,000 kalpas in thousands of lifetimes. So that is the famous Chen and Pure Land fourfold explanations. And in many temples in China, the Chen temples, we also see people also practice Pure Land. So Chen and Pure Land together. a lot of Chan practitioners nowadays in China, they also aspire to attain rebirth in the Pure Land because they also understand how difficult it is to actually realize enlightenment through their own self-effort in this life. I mean, they can try as hard as they want, but they may still not be successful. That's why they also transfer the merit of their Chan practices and also Nianfo to hope to attain rebirth in Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land. So this is also due to the influence of Master Yongming Yanshou's work. In the year 975 CE, on the 26th day of the second lunar month, the Master woke up at dawn. He burned incense and bade farewell to the public, and then he sat in the meditative lotus position and attained rebirth at ease. He was then 72 years old, and after cremation, relics were found all over his body. Later, there was a monk who came from the Jiangxi province to come and circumambulate Master Yongming Yanshou's Red Lakes Pagoda over the years. When being asked why he was doing so, he said once he felt seriously ill and he went to the Hell Realm. And in the hall of Lord Yama, so Lord Yama is the king of hell who judged the dead. So he sat on the left side of the hall of Lord Yama. He saw there was a portrait of a monk, and Lord Yama prostrated diligently and respectfully every day to this monk. And he asked the people around, who is this monk that Lord Yama prostrates to? And they said, this is the great Master Yongming Yanshou. When he attained rebirth, he directly being reborn in the Western Pure Land of ultimate bliss, highest level of the highest grade. Lord Yama respected his virtuous conduct very much. That's why he would pay homage to Master Yongming Yanshou every day. And thus, I also come here to pay my reverence to the great Master. So we haven't talked about how do people know that Master Yongming Yanshou is the incarnation of Amitabha Buddha in our world. So once Emperor Zhongyi offered meals to the Sangha in Yongming Temple on his birthday, and there came a monk with long ears, and this monk sat directly on the throne when he came in. His body was covered with scabies. He looked filthy, nobody liked him, and nobody knew who he was. Emperor Zhongyi was quite disrespectful towards him as well, because he was supposed to reserve the throne for Master Yongming Yanshou, and now, unexpectedly, a monk who came from nowhere just sat on the seat. So Emperor Zhongyi asked people to kick him out, and the long-eared monk, after being kicked out, he returned to the mountains. And when the meal offerings have finished, Emperor Zhongyi asked Master Yanshou, so today during the meal offering, did any holy monk come to the meal offering? And Master Yongming Yanshou told the emperor, actually, the long-eared monk who sat on the throne before, he was the manifestation of an Asian Buddha called Dingguang. So Dingguang means meditative light, the Buddha of meditative light. But you kicked him out. And Emperor Zhongyi regretted it very much upon hearing this, and he quickly went to the mountain to search for the monk. And when he saw him, he offered his sincere apology and said, I'm an ordinary being with shallow wisdom. I really like to apologize that I did not recognize the Asian Buddha. And this long-eared monk, upon hearing this, says, this Amitabha Buddha talks too much. And he sat in meditative position and discarded his body. So when Buddhas and Bodhisattvas come to this world to help, which there are a lot of them, but they will not reveal their identities. Once their identities have been revealed, they will have to leave immediately. So that's why the Buddha of meditative light, I quickly discarded his body. And Emperor Zhongyi realized immediately Master Yongming Yanshou is actually the incarnation of Amitabha Buddha. So he quickly rushed back to Yongming Temple, and only being told that Master Yongming Yanshou had already attained rebirth in the Western Pure Land. So that's how people knew that Master Yongming Yanshou is actually the incarnation of Amitabha Buddha. So I hope the story of Master Yongming Yanshou can inspire us to practice Nianfu more diligently and also give rise to unwavering and firm faith towards being reborn in Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land. So may we all be reborn in Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land in this lifetime and to realize enlightenment and final Buddhahood. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Amitabhaya.